Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. This is the all-new 2024 Buick Envista. This is the preferred trim level we're going to be taking a look at today. I'm going to try and show you all the trim levels as they become available from Mike Morgan Buick GMC here in Shreveport, Louisiana. So what exactly is the Envista? It's a compact crossover from Buick, the first really brand new model in about 6 years from Buick. It has a sportback look, very interesting and comfortable ride quality. And if you're looking to save money on gas, well, you don't want to go electric, you don't want to go hybrid. This is not a bad option depending on the situation. And for the price point, this is what we're really going to focus on today. Do you get more than you pay for? Because this model actually comes in under $28,000. It has an exterior color of white frost tint coat. The interior is ebony with slate accents. Let's dig in a little bit deeper and find out exactly what this model is all about. And now that I've closed everything up, you can see a little bit better with the body lines of the vehicle. A sportback look, very nice, very sporty looking, very modern looking. The tire and wheel size, 225 on the width. We're going to have a 60 series sidewall, and wrapped around the 17-inch wheels, you'll see the all-new, even though it's upside down right now, Tri-Shield Buick emblem or logo, depending on what you want to call that. Here's a better look at that. A little bit more of a modern look to it. And one thing here you'll find is front-wheel drive is the only option. You can't get all-wheel drive. That's one reason the price is as low as it is, even though you could get into the 30s with the Avenir, but still a very low price, starting a little over $29,000. But for the price of what this model has, you have LED lighting everywhere you look. LED headlights, LED daytime running lights. We'll also see LED tail lights when we get to the rear of the vehicle. A nice sporty looking front end, nice lines, kind of looks a little more high performance than it really is. And you'll even see some nice lines to the mirror caps. You're going to have the body color here, but you can see how the line just kind of works its way up, disappears right here, gives it a nice look. And you're going to have turn signals built into these power adjustable, manually folding, but they are heated side view mirrors. Blind spot monitoring is going to be built in there, and we'll also have our remote right here. The Tri-Shield logo right there on the lock button, and then you have your unlock. You can open that power lift gate, and yes, remote start. Also, if somebody's getting a little too close, there you go. You can push the panic button right there. Obviously, that's going to come off if you buy this model. And you also have passive entry on the front door handles. That's going to be the button right here. So you have the remote on your person or basically in your possession. You can walk up and lock and unlock all 4 doors from that button on either the driver or the passenger side. And their nice lines really continue all the way down the side of the vehicle onto the rear. In fact, with it being a nice, bright, sunny day, probably a little bit easier to show you some of the body lines here as far as what we have down there on the door sill, and then how everything works its way up. Nice sloping lines, especially here on this rear window. One thing you'll notice that's missing here, you might wonder about, there's no rear window wiper. Obviously, there's no space to conceal that away, so what's the deal here? With the slope of the window, it's really not something you need in this particular case. So not a big deal, I don't think. And then you obviously have some chrome trim on the top of the windows, works its way onto the rear back here, and a power lift gate. Push the button right here. There's obviously a few different ways to deal with that. That's power to open and close. And if you ever come back here to open that, or you use the remote and it doesn't open, here is what is most likely going to be the problem. Let me show you right here what we have as far as that goes. You're going to come right here. It's going to be this button. It can actually be set to 3/4. It can be set to max, or it can be set to off. And when it's set to off, obviously, it's not going to open at all. Now, you can open it manually when it's set to off. Just come back here and hit the button, and you can raise it up by yourself without the power feature. And we do finish things off here on the rear with the LED tail lights. You can see everything here. A very nice look as far as the overall design of the exterior. And here under the hood, the 1.2 liter 3-cylinder. I know a lot of people are going to have some things to say about that that are probably not the most positive, but on the test drive, I'll tell you about what it's like to actually drive this model. You don't need to drive it for yourself. It might surprise you. It does make 137 horsepower and 162 on the torque. Good news here, however, something that might surprise a lot of people. No continuously variable transmission. A 6-speed automatic is the only transmission option for this particular model. And what about MPGs? 28 city, 32 highway, 30 combined, and 3.3 gallons of gas per every 100 miles you drive. And if you're curious to know, the gas tank size on this model is 13.3 gallons. Cargo capacity numbers come in at 20.7 up to 42 cubic feet. And yes, the cargo cover here is easily removable. You would just take this off on both sides, obviously, and then you can literally, once you do that, you can literally just pop it up. It just sits on some hinges right here. You can pop that up and out of the way. That makes it easier to maximize cargo capacity. And before I show you how to maximize cargo capacity, another big bonus here is the fact that you have a spare tire. That's always a good thing. No tire repair kit here. Now, the floor, you can pull this completely out. That makes it easier to get the tire in and out and get to the tools to change that tire and all that good stuff. So here's what we have as far as lowering the rear seats. Just come right here. You're going to lower down that side. And just because I know a lot of people like to see it all done, even though I can't imagine that it's that hard to imagine what it would look like, but there you go. For those of you who have to see both sides lowered down to these 60-40 split rear seats, you can see that it has just a slight angle to it, but not enough to really hurt anything as far as cargo capacity goes. You're still going to be in really good shape. And we'll take a look into the rear seating area in a little more detail here. Nice colors, nice contrast, comfortable armrest. And, well, for a compact crossover, I'd say that's a decent sized door bin. And we'll hop inside. You're going to find the seat pocket on the passenger side here, and a couple of USB options there on the rear of the center console. Now, the one thing I know a lot of people are going to say, no air conditioning vents, right? Not in the back seat area. This is a small interior. I don't think that's that big of a deal. And believe it or not, there was a time when there was no such thing as even thinking about rear air conditioning vents in most vehicles, and yet we all survived, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. And we'll take a look into the front seat, starting from the passenger side door. A little larger door, so that means a little more space with not only the armrest, but also the door bin. So if you have a door bin snob in your life, well, tell them to sit in the front seat. Now, you will find a manually adjustable passenger seat, but a power adjustable driver's seat. A very nice look across the dash. As far as really having a nice modern look to it, there is plenty of space within the confines of the glove box. And wireless charging. That a surprise to you? It might be, but there it is, the wireless charging pad, USB connectivity, and the 12-volt power outlet, a conventional style shifter. So for those of you who don't like push-button shifters, good news, that simply doesn't exist here. I probably don't need to tell you too much about what is up there as far as the buttons go. Cup holders, and one thing that I think is really nice here is the height of the center console. Works very well as an armrest. It could stand to maybe be a little bit wider, but it again is a subcompact crossover. You do have quite a bit of space, in fact, probably a surprising amount of space within the interior of the center console. But most likely, you are going to be sitting in the driver's seat if you're watching this video. So let me show you what you're going to find from that vantage point. And you pretty much already saw the driver's side door panel when we looked down here at the control for that power liftgate back there, but you also have the controls for the windows and the side view mirrors and all that good stuff. So you pretty much know what is there. You can drop the lever right here to control the tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel, and you have push button start. Obviously, that's not going to be any surprise to anybody, I don't think. And what we have here with what amounts to a total of 19 inches, you have 8 inches for the instrument cluster and 11 inches for the center screen right here. It's called the virtual cockpit. It's curved, as I hope you can see on the screen. That actually means it's more driver focused. You've got a lot pointed at the driver right here, as you can see with the dash design, a very nice look. And then we're going to have, believe it or not, this model does come standard with turn signals. So this is how you manage those if you know how. I know that's a lot, probably requires a huge tutorial to teach people how to use the turn signal option. And then your steering wheel mounted controls here. There's that new logo again, the Tri-Shield logo from Buick, and the control for your windshield wipers. Also, you're going to have quite a bit going on here beyond that. You have the heated steering wheel, and you're also going to have single zone climate control here. But you know what, again, the interior size, I think that will be okay. But I did want to show you a few things here with the screen. Very simple to use. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto here. You can pair your cell phone. You can go into settings and manage a lot going on with the vehicle. You can go into vehicle right here and see you have teen driver mode, rear seat reminder. You can turn that off if you need to, because a lot of us don't need to have a rear seat reminder necessarily, but you also see that you have collision detection systems as far as that feature goes. So what exactly do we have there? Automatic emergency braking, front pedestrian braking, adaptive cruise control, and lane change alert, as well as your rear cross traffic alert. So wanted to tell you about those features. There's so much here. I'm not going to cover every single little bit, but cover the high points here. There's the nice clear rear view camera, so that's going to be nice. Overall, a very simplistic interior, easy to deal with, but I told you we were going to get out on the road and tell you what it's like to drive this model, so let's do that now. Okay, as we get out on the road for the test drive, you know, obviously after I gave you the specs for what's under the hood, you know that there's definitely not going to be neck snapping performance here unless you slam on the brakes real hard, but that's not the direction you want neck snapping performance, is it? But you know what? That's not what the Envista is about. What it does have is very comfortable ride quality. The interior is relatively quiet on the roads I've driven it on so far. It's easy to get around with. It's a great big city car. And a lot of people might say, well, with the amount of horsepower that's under the hood, you know, you're gonna have a hard time getting up to speed on the interstate, right? No, not really, at least not based on my own experience. Now, if you had enough weight in the vehicle, that might be a little bit of a challenge, but I think in the average situation, it won't be a challenge at all. So when it comes down to pushing the gas pedal down and getting down the road, I don't really see any problems with that. The interior itself is comfortable, and this isn't the top trim level. Keep in mind, the top trim level is going to be the Avenir, so quite a bit going on where that's concerned. As soon as I can get my hands on an Envista Avenir, I will most certainly do that, and I'll show you the differences where that's concerned. But you really have a lot of very nice features, very nice functionality, an interior that is easy to navigate. Overall, a vehicle that is really very enjoyable to drive. It really comes down to the fact that depending on who you are, this could be the ideal vehicle for you. I know a lot of people are going to say that they would rather have more horsepower. Some people are going to say, you know what, that's pretty good in this day and age. Gas prices are pretty high. I want to save some money on gas, but I don't want an electric vehicle. Not really interested in a hybrid, so something like this might do the job. And not everybody's looking for a ton of horsepower. So there are advantages there depending on who you are. And other advantages here besides having really the latest in technology from Buick. The interior is comfortable. It's pretty spacious for the size of the vehicle, and obviously a very easy vehicle to maneuver around. And if I needed to slam on the brakes to avoid hitting bad drivers, well, that wouldn't be a problem either. Also, you have blind spot monitoring, as I showed you in the side view mirrors, and so that really negates blind spot issues, so that's helpful as well. There's really quite a bit going on here. So, tell me what you think. What would you like to see Buick have added that isn't here? Okay, we've hit the high points on the 2024 Buick Envista Preferred. Tell me what you think. Do you get more than you pay for at this particular price point? Definitely unusual to find any vehicle south of $30,000 in this day and age, no matter what it is, but in this particular case, that's the situation. Are the features and the functionality right for that price? Tell me what you think and tell me why you answered the way that you did. I'm always curious to know. I have to say a special thanks to my friends at Morgan Buick GMC for loaning me this Envista for the day. And a special thanks to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch and giving me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't subscribed to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel just yet, please consider doing so. And for those of you who might be like Monk and say, Tom, you've got to remove everything on the vehicle, there you go. Now you know. And if you would like to watch other videos, more videos, on vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.